Welcome to the Greener Way podcast, a show about people, planet, and purpose, and how investors and corporate leaders push forward in a complex world.
Welcome to the Greener Way. My name is Rosemary Petrus, and I'm the Senior Journalist at FS Sustainability. Today, we're talking with Dr. Laura Ryan, Head of Research at Ardea Investment Management, on her research surrounding gender and promotion in the Australian finance industry. Welcome to the podcast, Laura.
Thank you.
Alongside the CFA Institute and ANU, you recently co-authored a paper on promotion rates by gender in the finance industry. What were your findings?
Well, initially, we actually started looking at the pay gap. And I was, inspired by conversations that I was having with my male peers who suggested that at their respective organisations, the pay gap didn't exist, but I suspected it did. And so I wanted to do a bit of research to support that. But as we looked at the data a little more closely, it occurred to me that perhaps the promotion gap was actually hiding the pay gap to some extent. And by that, I mean, suppose there are two individuals at the same institution and they're in the same role and they're earning the same amount. On the surface, there's no pay gap. But if one of those individuals has a higher educational level and maybe more years of experience, then perhaps they should be in a more senior role earning more. And so we wanted to have a look at the promotion gap. And what we found was really interesting and really challenged some of my biases, but also, confirmed some of the things that I thought as well. So the first was that men and women are asking for promotions at the same rate. And that's fantastic because, we've heard that it's, the fault of women really for this lack of promotion and lack of senior women in senior leadership roles, et cetera, and that we're not leaning in enough and that we're too agreeable and et cetera, et cetera. But this really blows that out of the water and highlights that we are leaning in and we are asking for those promotions. So I think that's really fantastic. The next really interesting thing is that when women did ask for promotions, they had a higher probability of converting them into an actual promotion. And we think that, maybe that's because women often wait till they're 100% kind of qualified before they ask for a promotion. And then the last one, which is, there's no other way to say it, but it's concerning. So we found that men received more unsolicited promotions. And that was actually the reason for men receiving more promotions overall.
Okay, interesting findings. Can you talk a little bit about the reasons behind why this is the case?
Yes. So I think on the first one, that we're asking for promotions at the same rate, I think we got the memo. So, we've all heard about that book, Lean In, and, there's been so much, research that's been put forward about our need to, really make it clear that we want to get those promotions. So we're doing that, and that's really, really fantastic. I think we definitely got the message. On the second one, I think it is very much to do with the confidence thing. So, your chance of converting if you go into the promotion process very confident, you've got your numbers, you know what you've contributed to the business. I think that's going to, translate into a good message and then hopefully a conversion for you into a promotion. And then the last one, I think, has a lot to do with, unconscious bias. We like to promote our mini-me's and I think also a little bit of better the devil you know as well. So, and, the whole unsolicited promotion process, it's not really a process either. So, I think that's more about, promoting your friends or surrounding yourself with people that you're comfortable with.
So it's about networking, a lot about networking as well.
Oh, definitely.
All right. And so for any, skeptical listeners out there, is hiring and promoting women a nice to have? What's the business case for it?
Yeah, look, I think there's two really important reasons that we should do this. One is, why shouldn't we? So if men and women possess merit equally, so if it's equally distributed amongst males and females, then over time at large organisations, promotion rates should be equal. This is not a quota. What we're saying is, of the men and of the women that are available for promotion, are you promoting them in equal rates? And, I think arguing for the case that there shouldn't be equal promotion rates is really, really difficult. Why? What justification can there be if we know that, merit is equally distributed amongst males and females? And then the other one is, there's just such overwhelming evidence that it's good for business. So, Willis Towers Watson's just published a piece that shows that, at investment managers who have diverse teams, they have a net positive excess of returns of 45 basis points, which is, nothing to sneeze at, especially when we're in such a low interest rate environment. So it'll be interesting to see what the results look like when we're in a higher rate environment. But you can't argue with the research. Like if we're working in an industry that's all about the numbers, well, there's some pretty good numbers for you, I think.
As you mentioned, you said you found men and women ask for promotions at the same rate, dispelling the myth that women are not leading in enough, but you also found women are less likely to receive unsolicited promotions. So what advice would you give to women that are looking to go after that promotion and excel in their careers?
Yeah, look, I've got some advice for the men and the women. So, know your numbers when you go into that promotion process, and don't stop trying. So, if you asked last year and you got knocked back, it's in the minds of your managers and their managers that you did ask last year. And if they knock you back again this year, the third time round, it's going to probably be a little bit difficult for them to knock you back again.
Right.
But yeah, know your numbers, keep doing it, just, keep being persistent. But I think for the men, we need more male champions. We've got a really great HR male manager at Ardea, and he's absolutely fantastic on all of this diversity stuff. And it's really, really great that we've got somebody like him. Our CEO is really behind all the diversity initiatives, and I think we will see more change if we have more male champions for diversity, because the reality is that it's men that make up most of the senior leadership positions, and most of them are the hiring managers.
Absolutely. So it's for men, it's all about supporting their female colleagues, and for women, it's about having that confidence to go after what they want and be persistent.
Yes.
So tell us about the experience that you've had. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Yes, so I'm an introvert, and so networking and those types of things, I don't really like doing them very much at all. But I really wish that I had have done them much earlier, or participated in them much earlier. So organisations like 100 Women in Finance and Few, they exist to help promote women in the industry. And I've met so many fantastic, very supportive women through those groups, and those groups have jobs boards, and they pass around jobs and pass around applicants and say that this job's going. Do you know someone? Oh yes, I know this. This fantastic person. So I think that's really, really a good place to start. The other thing is, I think, a little bit of shameless self-promotion as well. So I used to think that, I'd just do a good job and then that would be all that I needed to do. But I think that actually resulted in a lot of invisible work. And so, just simple things like letting my manager know, on a weekly basis or a fortnightly basis, hey, this is what I've been working on and this is how I'm contributing. And I think also, finding yourself a good mentor and maybe a male one and a female one, so you round out the perspective.
Yeah. Can you talk us through what it looks like to establish that mentorship relationship as well?
Yes. So I think, you need to make sure, well, I think that you need to make sure that they are not working in the same institution. It's worked well for me when people that I have worked with previously, and then we've now work in different institutions, but they know my foibles, and so they and they're friends as well. And so I know that the advice that they're giving me is genuine. And I think that the independence and making sure that they've got a perspective that's not one that might be biased by working in the same institution is important as well.
Yeah, all really good tips. Thank you so much for the advice. We've been speaking with Dr. Laura Ryan from Ardea Investment Management. Laura, thank you so much for your time on the podcast today.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Rosemary Petrus. Thank you for listening to The Greener Way.
Thanks for listening to the Greener Way podcast. If you liked today's show, remember to rate and review us on your podcast platform and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss an episode. Any feedback? Contact us on podcast@fssustainability.com.au. I'm Rachel Allen Backus.
The Greener Way podcast is a product of FS Sustainability, a show about people, the planet, and investing in our collective future. All information in this podcast is for education and entertainment purposes only. The Greener Way podcast gives listeners access to information and educational content provided by discussing numerous financial sustainable options and our featured guests. It is not intended as a substitute for professional, legal, or tax advice. The hosts of The Greener Way are not financial professionals and are not aware of your personal financial circumstances. FS Sustainability operates under an Australian Financial Service License and the exemption made available under the Corporations Act 2001 in respect to any information or advice given. Before making any financial decisions, you should read the product disclosure statement and, if necessary, consult a licensed financial professional. For more information, head to the disclaimer page on the FS Sustainability website, fssustainability.com.au.